What's good? It's Fox the Wizard, and you know what it is. I gotta do my 5 players to watch for CWL Land. These are 5 players that have stood out to me because they've either created the most intense and entertaining storylines in the Call of Duty World League, or because these guys have had stellar moments in their gameplay and highlight reel worthy moments throughout the year in Call of Duty World War II. And right now, they're definitely players you should watch to put up some kind of an important and impactful performance in Call of Duty World War II. Either that, or they have a lot of weight on their shoulders and need to follow up something they've already done, or something they've already said. First player we got to jump to right now is going to be Lord Reapington III, or FaZe Replays, because this man is a champion after this past weekend, alright? FaZe Clan found themselves first place off the back of this dude. FaZe has been looking for a championship for well over 700 days now, and this is the face of a man that can bring it to you, okay? So you guys might have noticed that in my content over the past couple weeks, I've kind of said that the thing separating FaZe right now from being a championship caliber team is on the back of Replay's performance as an AR. They either need him to step it up as an AR and contribute more to the kill column and contribute more to being a reliable backline for this team, or they need to find the new AR player. They need to find something. Like, his spot was probably the most expendable on this team. I don't know if, like, I mean, I'm sure that Replays, I know him, like, as a person, he is absolutely self-aware enough to know when he is slacking off, when he has a bad map, when he's having a bad event. We've seen this before in the past when he left Denial Esports back in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and when he went into his retirement. He came back from retirement, became an analyst, hopped on this pro team, and did some damage at CWL Dallas, and he's following up again just this past weekend at the CWL Stage 1 playoffs. For this player, my most exciting thing for him throughout this year is easily at CWL Stage 1 playoffs, where he was able to hit that 1v3 against Optic Gaming in round 2 of the S&D in game 2, where they were down at a 2-5 round count deficit, and they came all the way back in a round 11 for Attach to then hit another game-winning 1v3. Now, if you ask me, because I know this is a big conversation right now, who had the better 1v3, it is absolutely, without a doubt, Replays. It was the most skillful, and it's also the one that set the tone for the rest of this map. It's the one that carried, let FaZe Clan carry the momentum for their 4-round comeback. I feel like, or 5 round, including that round. Like, I feel like he's absolutely the difference maker that made that happen with his 1v3. And then then Attach, you know how his clutch ass is in round 11. He's gonna do the same. Replays is the difference maker. Replays is a big part of the reason why this team has always been so stellar at CTF. He's also a big part of the reason why this team is so good at Search and Destroy. He is a strategic mastermind. After a round or 2, he's got your shit figured out. Your number's called, and he's got it. Next player on my list, would it even be a top 5 list if I didn't have this man on your screen right now? Slasher. Would you have a top 5 anything if you didn't put Slasher in it? Your top 5 ain't shit until you got some Slasher in it, okay? This dude is a monster. I don't just want to see this Slasher, though. I want to see Monster Hat Slasher next weekend. Tomorrow, I should say, at CWL Seattle. Playing for Rise Nation, though, so he probably won't have the Monster Hat. We can maybe switch that out to, like, a NASA hat or something like that. Doesn't really matter. But I don't want to see whatever haircut he got the entire weekend. I want to see this dude zoned in, destroying whatever's in front of him. He's easily the best AR player in the game right now. That's what he wanted to do, was leave Team Envious and join a team that's just looking for a main AR. He doesn't want to cause people to switch all their roles around. He wants to be able to plug and play and do some damage. And if anything from Slasher's past tells us, is that he's definitely going to do some damage. The question is, though, will his attitude stop him? Will he end up creating conflict within this Rise Nation roster? Because we know how hot-headed he can be. And as the new guy to this roster, that might not bode well for the rest of the team. But they also might just be able to understand and welcome in this stellar player with one of the highest skill ceilings in all of Call of Duty Esports. So my favorite moment for Slasher so far in Call of Duty World War II is probably just him cracking skulls on London Docks hardpoint time after time. This dude is dropping record-breaking numbers on that map in game mode combination. And him as an AR player, like, he's someone that can find you 2 and 3 kills where you only expected 1. He's someone that can single-handedly fuck up the enemy team's rotation. I trust Slasher, and if you are a Rise Nation fan, you should too. If you want to learn how the main AR role is played, watch Slasher over the past 3 or 4 years. He'll show you how it's done. So Slasher's easily my next player to bring up. He's also like a robotic engineering graduate. He's got a bachelor's degree, and that's gotta mean something, right? Anyway, back on subject. Tommy from Splice. I have to talk about Tommy. Tommy, he has been one of the most versatile and, like, I feel like you put him in a situation, he's going to make the best of it. And also, just as a personality in a team, he has, like, one of the best presences on a team. Like, he has such an awesome presence on a team, and in terms of, like, how he communicates with them, in terms of how he's able to, like, change around his, like, whole idea as to how the team should be functioning. And what I mean by this, that picture that you saw was actually of him when he was on Fnatic last year. That team wasn't supposed to have Wuskin on it. He didn't expect to be teaching a newcomer to the pro scene how professional Call of Duty works, but he ended up being a big part of the reason why we are seeing one of the scariest duos in the form of Scraps and Wuskin wreak havoc in the European region for the Call of Duty World League. He is a big part of the reason. He has basically birthed Wuskin. I'm glad I could give you that image. But, like, not just that, back in Black Ops 3, let's even take it further than that. In Advanced Warfare, when Mad Cat left the team and then tried to come back and everything like that, we saw roles being changed where he wasn't able to run the AR as much as he'd like. He ended up running the sub a bit more. When Mir came onto the team during COD Champs at the last second because Swanee couldn't show up, he had to go to a main AR role so that Mir could come in and play the sub for the team, and he did it great. He did all of this without losing a beat, and that's why I respect Tommy. Not just that, I mentioned at CWL Birmingham, before CWL Birmingham for Splice, I was like, something isn't going right for this team, and I can't quite put my finger on it, but I can see the ramifications of what's going wrong with them. I can see that they're not getting a lot of value out of Bance and Mad Cat, right? These are two stellar players in the European region that they should be looking to always contribute in a map, but something is going wrong to where there's no follow-up on Jerd's plays. Tommy can't seem to get where he wants to be in the map. Something is going wrong, whatever it was, and I need to go back and watch the VODs to really be able to pinpoint what it was, but at CWL Birmingham, Tommy came out of his shell. Tommy was running a sub and actually doing more damage than he typically would with an AR. And I feel like that was the big difference maker. Whatever that was for the tempo of this team, it let Bance get those gears turning. It let Bance become this dangerous roaming submachine gun player that he could be, and was a big part of the reason why this team was able to run through that losers bracket. So if you want to talk about, you know, one of Tommy's biggest moments in Call of Duty World War II, go ahead and check that out. His performance at CWL Birmingham definitely speaks volumes as to why I hold him to such a high standard for this team. Next player we got to talk about, though. This is going to be one of the more controversial ones, and it's Ferocity. This dude, the controversy he's brought it on himself, right? This dude's just got a big mouth. What he's also got is a big performance in Search and Destroy. This dude can definitely do some damage in that game mode. I mean, like I said before, he can just be the warden of S&D maps. He can choose a lane and you're not entering it for the rest of the game whenever he wants. Obviously, that's hyperbole and I'm exaggerating because I want to hype these dudes up, but you get what I mean. Like, this is the kind of impact and damage that he can have in a Search and Destroy map. So bringing Ferocities on to Team Caliber, he's probably going to be like that sort of supportive AR off the back of Kenny. And he's got some really big shoes to fill, though, is the problem. People already personally might not like Ferocities because of the fact that he's very clearly a jerk to a lot of his teammates, you know, leaving people just before roster lock. Obviously, on stream, you hear how the way that he talks to his teammates, how sometimes he doesn't take scrims seriously enough. He's a newcomer to the scene, and he's also joining on an organization that fielded a roster that were back-to-back CWL champions. Not just that, this team has lost the one final head remaining on the TK Mount Rushmore that was Theory. And he's being replaced by new faces that have never been on Team Caliber before. So that's a really, like, everything that Ferocities does is going to be under a microscope, not just by TK fans, but everybody watching. What's the next step for TK? Are they going to fall back into mediocrity, or are they going to be a contending top team again? So Ferocities, for my main thing, is going to be, you need to watch him on USS Texas S&D. I think that he's going to be really dangerous on that map and game mode combination. More specifically, I think that you could go back and watch performance against, I want to say it was Splice at CWL Dallas, and look at what he's capable of doing. This dude's able to wreak so much havoc on that map and game mode. You could also go back to the CWL Stage 1 Pro League, their league matches, where he was playing against Optic Gaming on Era Eternity, where they were able to 3-0 Optic. This dude was dropping double digits. They beat them 5-0 in a CTF, and Ferocities was on the back of that. He straight up said he felt like that series was a pub. So yeah, that's this dude's personality, all right? You get a mic in front of this dude, he's going to talk some shit. He's feeling confident, and it's going to be a really interesting watch to see how he meshes into this Team Caliber organization. Next up, we got TJ Halley. This dude, This guy over the past couple weeks, for fans, has probably made himself as unlikable as possible. But for me, like, I see someone that knows what he's capable of. I see someone that understands his skill ceiling and is looking for any possible excuse other than his underperformance or his teammates' underperformance as a reason as to why they didn't win. He knows that he is an S&D phenom. Back in the Pro League, you have to go and see what this dude was able to do. He is a threat. He's a monster, and he's a big part of their success in search of Rise Nation's success in Search and Destroy. You can even see this back in Advanced Warfare, to which tells me that's might have been part of what they picked him up for, was because of his massive potential that he showed for himself in such a small period of time back in Advanced Warfare. We're seeing it shine through brightly on Rise Nation. But they just didn't look so great at Birmingham, when of course there might have been other factors playing into it they want to complain about, but then at Stage 1 playoffs, we don't see them make it all the way to the end. And that's got to be a big deal for them. And also his tirades on Twitter have people just turning their nose to whatever he has to say. So my big thing for him, and also for Ferocities, is you guys are going to get hate that is warranted. You kind of brought this negativity onto yourselves at this point. But there's going to be vitriol that you don't need to respond or react to. There's going to be vitriol you don't need to react to or even bother reading. There's going to be kids at home watching you guys playing with Twitter up on their monitor, spewing the most hateful, vitriolic garbage in your mention that you could possibly get. What you got to understand is that those insecurities that they have are not going to project themselves, okay? They got to do it. They got to fill your mentions with negativity. They got to let you have it when you do something poorly. Don't let that affect your gameplay, because you have, and how you talk to people and how you present yourself, because you have so much potential. And I'm really excited to see these guys play. Look for TJ Halley to be doing damage in any S&D map. His first blood percentage back in the Pro League for Stage 1 was something crazy, like upwards of 27%. This dude's just someone you got to watch out for in that game mode. And he's also got no excuses, because he now has the best AR player in his back pocket, being Slasher on Rise Nation. I don't want to hear a damn thing. I want results, and Rise Nation, if it's not within the top 4, it's less than expected. So that's what I'm excited for these guys. Those are my 5 players to watch for CWL Seattle. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, twitch.tv/Call of Duty. Share the link with your friends. Share the link with your friends, and their parents. They might be interested. Also, I have a Patreon in the description below if you want to support this channel. Go ahead, click that link, and you can let me hold $1. You can put 5 on it, whatever you want. But first and foremost, make sure you go on my Twitter, Rondez Fox. Tweet me who you feel your players are to watch for the CWL Seattle Open event.